everyone. This is Rhonda with Climbing Culture Daily, and this is a quick chit chat. I was on TikTok like everyone else and saw the clips of the b.simone podcast with her best friend. And yeah, I had to breathe in and breathe out. I'm not going to touch on the friendship part as much as b.simone's kind of self awareness or lack thereof. And this is not to down any, person out there who really wants to make a mark on this world. And I think there are some things that B. Simone is just not understanding about the process. And it's great to use people like Tyler Perry or Oprah or all these people. But the one thing that all these very successful people do have is they have a bottom. They have a bottom story. They have a story from the beginning. And that's where you actually start paying attention to. That's the area that you look at. You look at the climb. Wink, wink. You don't look at when they're putting the flag on the top of the mountain. You look at what is happening in preparation. What happens at the bottom of the mountain? What happens when you're packing the bag and you're checking the temperature and you're looking around? You're checking on the people who are on the same journey with you. You see and understand what their jobs are and understanding what your job is in that process. It starts at the bottom of the mountain. It does not start at the end result. What you want to look at is when Beyonce started singing at 11, right? You want to identify, that's how you look at people you have aspirations to model your career after. It's the come up and what they did to get there. And in B. Simone's desire to be, she doesn't really look at herself. There's a lack of self-reflection, and it really matters, right? And unfortunately, sometimes when people, reach at the top of the mountain, they stop doing this self-reflection because they don't feel like they have to be checked or check themselves. But I think it's very, valuable at all times to sit back and examine yourself in the way that you move and how are you, what energy you are putting out. And at every turn, it seems that B. Simone's energy is off. And it really starts with her lack of self-reflection and humility. I think there's some aspects of it that comes off as unauthentic or inauthentic. I don't know which pronunciation is right. Because I think she's trying to put on, right? She wants to wear the successful woman, whatever, the boss babe thing or moniker or look or talk or all of that stuff. Just be yourself. If you are more so a sweats with your hair in twists, natural face sort of person, I'm telling you, people are going to respond to you just showing up as who you are. And I think what we're seeing with B. Simone is a person who really doesn't know herself. So at every turn from when she is claiming, to be, super Christian now, to her being this boss chick, all the things seem to come off a little inauthentic. And then lastly, the vision. I don't know what she's trying to do. Like, I don't know what she is trying to actually do and be. I've yet to hear actually what the vision is. So it was very interesting to sit there and listen to her about how she wants people to just come up under her when her own vision isn't clear. Why am I following you blindly? You're blind. You don't have vision. When I started my nonprofit, the one thing that I had to do is be clear on the vision. When I was asking people to be a part of helping me to create this nonprofit, and I had a group of women who committed their time, talents, and treasure because I was very clear in how I articulated what this could be and if they're willing to be a part of it. I'd never asked them to sell off their vision to come up under me. There was never an under me. It was being a part of this creation, this vision. And so even how she talks about her vision, it's icky. it's a ick. But I don't know what the vision is. Is it just to be a what? Oprah was a journalist. I'm very clear. She was a journalist. And she became Oprah through that lens and through that aspect of what her mountain looked like. Tyler Perry wrote plays, was a writer. Wherever, we can think what we think about his writing and creativity, but he was very clear about the mechanism of how he was going to move forward. But it really does all start at the bottom. We keep looking up at the top, but it's the journey to get you there. She has to be a little humble. Humility does not mean that you're making yourself small. There's this, misnomer that because you kind of understand that sometimes you have to be silent and listen, or you have to self-reflect, or you have to self-check, or means you're making yourself small. That's absolutely not it. No one's saying that you can't shine, but sometimes the sun even goes away to let the rain do what it has to do. So we have to have these moments where we allow, ourselves to be a little quiet, let other people around us shine, let other people, if you want them to take part in your vision, the vision, that sometimes other people in your thing will, shine and leave. People leave this because it's not theirs per se. The vision wasn't given to them per se, but see it a blessing that even if it's a day, if it's a moment, if somebody gives you, $100 towards the cause, it all goes towards somebody believing in you and the vision. So I just think, watching her so wanting to be the Tyler Perry. I'm saying Tyler Perry because that's what she said, and she kept talking about Tyler Perry and her and making millionaires. She doesn't even have the equipment ready at the bottom of the mountain. She's not even checking and double checking the equipment to make sure she's ready for it. And I think that's the humility. That's why she's, so-called back at H&M. And even in that shows she's not ready for the mountain. Just in that the fact that tears would come in her eyes, that she had to go to H&M is unbelievable. So I have been around wealthy people who are wealthy. Believe me, they ain't always up in. The ones who ain't trying to really flash money, they'll go in H&M. They'll go in H&M for a quick little white t-shirt, but whatever. I digress. I just wanted to just kind of say something really quick. It's really unfortunate to kind of, watch her go through this process out loud, but hopefully at some point she will kind of gather all these clips and actually say, yeah, look how I didn't do this right, you know? But she has to go back to the vision and articulate it. And, not everybody's mountain in your mountain. You got to be ready for your climb. And I will leave you at that. Again, this is Rhonda, climbing culture daily. Keep climbing.